What's up? What's up? What's up, Nerd Herd? What's up, IDP Army? Back again. It's your man, Jordan Rains, at 50 Shades of Drunk, if you're on Twitter. Coming back with you guys with some IDP fantasy football content here on the Dynasty Nerds channel. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel for more awesome Dynasty content along with this IDP video. I'm going to be going over the top 12 linebackers of 2020. We're going to see who was in, who wasn't in. We're going to look, separate the fact from the fiction, and we're going to talk about, these guys are ranked up for the rest of the season, or rest of the off season, I should say, and going forward on your Dynasty roster. So, like I said, make sure you like and subscribe because I'll be doing a video series on this for the top 12 linebackers. I'll be doing one for the top 12 defensive backs, and I'll be doing one for the top 12 defensive linemen. And that'll be, again, a review of how they finished the season out. And that should be up on the channel in the next week or two. So just keep an eye out for that. So I guess we'll go ahead and just kick it off. So what we're going to really talk about is, we're going to go through the top 12 players at linebacker position. We're going to talk about how they finished, how they got there, what their score was, just kind of a shotgun information at you, and then we'll get you on out of here. All right. So you'll have an idea of who's what, where they are in our rankings and all that good stuff. So no surprise here if you were paying any attention at all. Devon White was the number one linebacker in 2020. Second season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Only played 15 games. Had 355.2 points in IDP 1-2-3 scoring. Was fourth in combined tackles on the season with 140. Third in solos with 97. And tied for third with tackles for loss, which was he had 15 of those. And he had 30 impact plays. Briefly, before we get too far in here, an impact play in IDP 1-2-3 scoring is any play that has a net value of over 3 points. That's how they're defined. That's how we decide what plays are, the most important players are weighted the most because of their emphasis on, what they do to the ball. The impact play, it needs to result in a net gain of 0 yards by the offense, result in negative yards by the offense, create a turnover opportunity, result in a turnover, or result in a defensive score. So when I'm talking about an impact play, what I'm really talking about is passes defended, tackles for loss, forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, block kicks, sacks with an asterisk by that, and interceptions, and safeties. I say sacks with an asterisk because when I talk about defensive line players, I don't include sacks as they're in their impact plays because that's such a primary part of their role on the field. I don't feel like it's the same metric for them to be weighted against their position as it is for the defensive backs and the linebackers. So when I say, when you do hear me talk about the defensive line players in the next video or the video after that, I'm not sure what order I'm going to do them in. When I say impact plays for defensive line players, that is not counting the sacks. Okay. But when I'm talking about linebackers today, that'll include sacks. So speaking of sacks and Devon White, he had 9 sacks this season, most by any off-ball linebacker this season. He's currently the Nerds linebacker 2 in our consensus rankings. So 30 impact plays is a big number to have, especially as a second-year player. So kudos to him. Coming in at number 2 in the IDP 1-2-3 scoring is Roquan Smith, third season with the Chicago Bears. He played 16 games, 339.6 points. 98 solo tackles, was good for second in the NFL. 139 combined tackles, good for sixth. 18 tackles for loss, which was second only to TJ Watt. 33 impact plays, so he had 3 more impact plays than Devon White had. And he's currently the Nerds consensus linebacker 3. Now, if you want to know more in depth about impact plays, I should have an article coming up on Nerds this week or next week. It will be up that goes through impact plays, what they mean in terms of IDP 1-2-3 scoring, what they mean in terms of real football, kind of breaking down why they are scored and weighted the way they are, the reasoning behind it, and then, just offering, insight to people to know what to look for and, examining the various degrees of difficulty in these plays, etc., and why they are and should be rewarded a good bit more than just your conventional tackle. So go check that article out. That'll be on Dynasty Nerds this week, or like I said, next week. I'm going to do a whole video about that as well, but one thing at a time. So let's get back to these linebackers. Like I said, that finishes off Roquan Smith. 33 impact plays. He had the most among linebackers. He's tied for the most among linebackers. Linebacker 3 right now on Dynasty Nerds. Zach Cunningham comes in at number 3 this year in IDP 1-2-3 scoring. All another third-year linebacker. So far, all these guys have been second and third-year players. 16 games played for Zach Cunningham, 315 points at IDP 1-3 scoring, 164 combined tackles, which was first in the league this year, led the league, and he was second in tackles last season behind only Budda Baker. So Zach Cunningham he's a tackle monster, averaging 10 tackles a game. That's why he's up here. He's not really much of an impact player, only 13 impact plays this season, and 3 of those were sacks, which is also not really a big part of his game. So, but the tackle floor there, he's basically one of the safest players. He is basically the safest player when it comes to tackle floor right now in the NFL. And he did this without playing even close to 100% of the snaps on the season. So if you are a snap person who really pays attention to that, then you know the efficiency that Zach Cunningham is probably kind of scary to think about and look at. But the reality is this is his second year being a tackle monster. So it is what it is. He's currently Nerd's linebacker at 9 in our consensus rankings. Jump on down to one of my favorite players in the NFL right now. Number 4 was Blake Martinez, New York Giants. It's his 5th season in the NFL. Played 16 games. He's an Iron Man. He plays 16 games basically every year. 309 points, 309.2 points, IDP 1-3 scoring. 4th straight season with 140 plus combined tackles. He had 151 this year. That's consistency right there. 4 years of this kind of high level production. Just wow. 21 impact plays. That's pretty good. He's not, quite like Zach Cunningham with his, paltry. I said he had 13. He's had a whole 8 more. So he's, getting busy doing more impactful things on the field besides just getting the tackles. So in that sense, he's a player that you like to have on your team. Has a chance for a big boom week. He played through injury this year. He had a back and an ankle injury towards the back half of the season, kept suiting up, kept going out there and making points for your team. So, gotta love a guy that's willing to do that and do it well. And Blake Martinez has finished as a top 10 linebacker each of the last 4 seasons, top 5 in 2020, this last year, 2019, and 2017. So there's almost no safer lock in this group with the consistency and with the ceiling and with the floor. He's routinely undervalued as well. I got him in several drafts last year into the double digits at linebacker, which was totally obscene. He's basically discount Bobby Wagner, has been his whole career, and currently Nerds has him as the consensus linebacker 6. So love to see that. Number 5 linebacker this season was TJ Watt, 4th season, Pittsburgh Steelers. If you know anything about me, I love TJ Watt. He's basically my favorite defensive player in the NFL. He's just really good. The numbers speak for themselves. He played 15 games this season. So he sat out that very last week of the regular season. So he could have had more points. He had 307 points on IDP 1-3 scoring. Led the league in sacks with 15. Led the league in tackles for loss, 23. Had 33 impact plays. He, like I said, also Roquan Smith had 33. But what it's interesting though, because TJ Watt is also DL eligible on Sleeper, which is my primary platform that I use. So those 33 impact plays, when I'm talking about them, even though I said earlier that Watt, linebackers wouldn't have sacks or would have sacks included, TJ Watt, his sacks aren't even included in this. So he had 33 impact plays without counting his 15 sacks. Roquan Smith had 33 impact plays, and several of those were sacks. So just to give you some perspective of what TJ Watt is really doing out there. 3rd season in the NFL with 7 or more passes defended or pass breakups. Led the league with 41 quarterback hits. Face it, the reality is he's a linebacker 1. Nerds has him ranked as a linebacker 1. He's our consensus linebacker 5. You can fade the boomer bust narrative that's, been around him. Seemingly it's rooted in no facts. Excluding his rookie season in 2017, he averages 4 tackles a game, 3 of those being solo, a sack a game, basically 0.9, 2 impact plays a game, and 2 quarterback hits. That rounds out to roughly 21 points per game in the past 2 seasons, 2018, 2019, 2020. An IDP 1-3 scoring. So fade the narrative. It's not based in any sort of reality. Nerds team has got it on lock for y'all. I don't know. An elite player is an elite player, and TJ Watt's kind of breaking down barriers for the community and for fantasy football. I love that he's dual tagged as well on Sleeper. So he was our number 5 linebacker for the season. Number 6 linebacker, this is another guy I really love, Joe Schobert. 5th season in the NFL, Jacksonville Jaguars. Played 16 games, 304.5 points in IDP 123 scoring. It was 4th season with a combined 100, well, 4th most combined tackles on the season with 141, 19 impact plays, 4th straight multi-sack season. He had 2.5 sacks this season. Back-to-back multi-interception seasons, 4 interceptions in 2019, 3 interceptions in 2020, and then 3rd season as a top 10 linebacker in 4 years, LB3 in 2019, LB7 in 2017, and LB6 this year, 2020, aka the seasons that he was fully healthy and a starter. So he is, perennially undervalued, never leaves the field. He's underrated and underappreciated. Currently, Nerds linebacker 12. Love me some Joe Schobert. He got paid. He's perennially underrated and undervalued. So that speaks for itself. Linebacker 6, 3 linebacker 1 finishes in the past 4 years. Coming in at number 7, Jalen Smith, 4th season in the league with the Dallas Cowboys. 16 games played, 299.4 points, IDP 123 scoring. Had career highs in combined tackles and solo tackles this season. 154 combined tackles, which was 2nd in the league. And then he had 89 solo tackles, which was 7th in the league. Only 15 impact plays. Would really like to see that number go up a little bit. But, with the tackle floor being what it is, and his health, that's another thing people love to talk about is, he came into the league injured, but this is his 4th straight season playing 16 games. So that speaks, hopefully that narrative can be put to bed. 3rd straight season with 120 plus tackles. 3rd straight season as a linebacker 1 as well. Linebacker 10 in 2019, linebacker 11 in 2018. And he's Nerds consensus linebacker 4 right now. Like I said, finished the season as the linebacker 7 this year. Coming down to the old Iron Man himself, Bobby Wagner, linebacker 8 in 2020, 9th season with the Seattle Seahawks, 16 games played, 298 points, 198 points in IDP 123 scoring, 19 impact plays. Usually Bobby Wagner is good for a couple more of those. 5th straight season, though, with 130 plus tackles. Only his 3rd season, though, in 9 with double-digit tackles for loss. So he gets a lot of tackles, but he doesn't get a lot of tackles for loss. Those are high leverage plays. Those are impact plays. So maybe if he could get that, if that number was a little bit higher this year, it was 11. He's not a career tackle for loss guy. That's not something he's really known for. It's not part of his game, as I'm alluding to here, with it being only his 3rd season in 9 with double digits. But it's good that he did hit double digits this year. Those are kind of towards impact plays. 2020 was the first season since 2015 he wasn't selected first team All-Pro, though. So, maybe he is slowing down, even though the numbers are still there. He will be 31 this upcoming season in 2021 for the NFL, and he's currently the Nerds linebacker 11. Darius Leonard comes in at number 9, 3rd season in the NFL, Indianapolis Colts. We all know who he is. 14 games played, 288.3 points, IDP 123 scoring, 22 impact plays. Darius Leonard is a living, breathing, walking definition of an impact player. He's always all over the field making impact plays, forced fumbles. He's good at getting a couple of sacks a season, stuff like that. 132 total tackles, 86 solo, 46 assists this year, 7 pass deflections this year, 7 pass deflections last year, 8 pass deflections as a rookie. So he's always good for those. 0 interceptions in 2020, though, which is, I guess things like this happen in bunches, but he did have 5 interceptions in 2019. So I would have liked to see him get 1 or 2 of these pass deflections and turn them into an interception. But Darius Leonard, like I said, he's a walking playmaker. I'm sure he will get back to the law of averages next year and pull a couple of those in. He did have a career low in sacks, still a multi-sack guy, had 3 this year, but he had 5 in 2019 and 7 in 2018. So career low there, but he did, he still played 14 games and he put himself into the top 10, because on a points per game basis, Darius Leonard is still the linebacker 1. He's currently Nerds consensus linebacker 1, as he still should be. It is worth noting, though, he has never played a full 16 games. So maybe he'll get that under his belt this next year. Number 10 this season was Deion Jones, 5th season, Atlanta Falcons, 16 games played, 284 points. 0.4 points, IDP 123, 25 impact plays from old Deion Jones. That's really what kind of catapulted him up here this year. He just barely went over 100 tackles. I believe he had 106. Let me double check that for you. But with the impact plays being at a career high, essentially, he's able to put himself into that contention. Yeah, 106 total tackles, which is his second lowest mark of his career. Third straight season with fewer than 8 passes defended or pass breakups after starting his season with 11, 25 impact plays. That's nothing to shake a stick at. That's what got him into the top 12 here. And if he could get his tackle floor up, he put himself back into that conversation as a top 5 guy. Currently, Nerds linebacker 14. Eric Wilson, number 11. 4th season in the league, Minnesota Vikings, played 16 games, 280 points, IDP 123. Also had 25 impact plays. Waiver wire pickup of the season. Nobody probably had him on their team. Anthony Barr went down in week 1, and Eric Wilson came in to replace him, to take over that spot, and had an awesome season. If you had him, you ended up picking up essentially a guy off waivers that finished at top 12 of his position, and he did it in style. I mean, like I said, impact players are what you want when you're watching football. You want to see your defender get the sack. You want to see him force the fumble. You want to see him break up that pass. And when you get a guy that's an impact player, you're seeing that. You're not just seeing a guy get into a pile and say, oh, I hope my guy got that tackle. You actually see the play occur. So Eric Wilson was awesome to have on your team this year. High-level impact player. 8 pass deflections, 3 interceptions. Crazy. He's had 0 pass deflections before this year, and he started 10 games previously, and he'd appeared in 32 as a linebacker, maybe not as a starter, but and he only played special teams as a rookie. So he really did have a special year as far as, I guess, development, because he's had opportunities before and he didn't run with it like he did this year. Currently, Dynasty Nerds rank is unavailable. We are currently getting him into our system because we just moved everything over and we're doing some updates and he got lost in the shuffle. But I imagine he's probably going to end up pretty well within the top 30 at our linebackers. But he did catch a lot of people by surprise, as did sort of this next player. Coming in at number 12 is Foyesade Olokun, 3rd season with the Atlanta Falcons. Interesting note, Olokun and Deion Jones are the only tandem of players on the same team at linebacker to finish in the top 12 together. 15 games played in 2020, 274.5 points, 100 are in IDP 123 scoring, 18 impact plays. First season as a starter, had 117 tackles, 78 of those being solo. So he has a nice tackle floor. He had that one game early in the season. You may or may not have seen it, but he had 3 or 4 forced fumbles in one game, and he only played shockingly no number of snaps. I think it was 4 or 5. So he's a true impact player when he really gets in his mode. So gets in his bag, should I say. So first season as a starter, he's not costing Atlanta any money, really. I don't know what Atlanta's situation right now, just as a team, is a mess. Hopefully he is able to kind of retain that role. We've seen Atlanta Falcons linebackers be productive. Last year, Devondre Campbell had a great season there. He finished as a top 20 linebacker. And this year we had 2 players finish in the top 12. So just the comfort of knowing that Olokun can do it, knowing that he's done it there before. And if you do play on Sleeper, Olokun is one of the rare players, but awesome players, that carries a double tag as a linebacker and a defensive back. So he'll be talked about on the defensive back show as well, because when guys are double tagged, I'm just going to include them in both my sets. I just feel like that's the most fair way to do it, least confusing way to do it. So I'm going to run back the top 12 to y'all one more time, and then I will get you out of here. Number 1 of the 2020 season was Devon White. Number 2 was Roquan Smith. 3 was Zach Cunningham. 4, Blake Martinez. 5 was TJ Watt. 6 was Joe Schobert. 7, Jalen Smith. 8, Bobby Wagner. 9, Darius Leonard. 10, Deion Jones. 11, Eric Wilson. And 12, Foyesade Olokun. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Leave some comments for me. I'll try to come in here and answer your questions as best I can. content. I'm always open to anything you all want to hear. Maybe try to do some AMA type stuff. Follow me, like I said, on Twitter at 50 Shades of Drunk. Appreciate you all listening to the show. Make sure you are joining the Nerd Herd so you get that extra podcast. Make sure you're subbing to the channel so you know when new videos come up. We got some good content creators on the channel right now. Stuff's popping off. This is when you win your leagues, or this is when you gear up to win your leagues. This is the arms race time of the season. Don't, just wait around. Like, be sharp, be ready. So hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, the top 12 for the defensive line and defensive backs is coming soon. Nerd Herd, I'm out of here. Have a good one.